Hey guys, I'm back with our market update part 2, so let's get started. So first of all, question, is this a stupid mistake or is this market manipulation or is this something else that we just don't have information on? Alright, so if you watched yesterday's video, you'll know that there were a bunch of cheap ETBs for Black Bolt and White Flare put up for sale for $100 each. They're put up by the PokeHive, which still actually has a couple of boxes left for there's C5 of them for $100, but you see a big spike in buy activity for $100 price. You see 22 ETBs bought yesterday, and then for Black Bolt 31. So they sold out for the Black Bolt, so it's returned back to its like 150 something price points. So it's like technically up $54 today. But I was noticed that the White Flare one still hasn't recovered, and yeah, there's still 5 more left. But I see also like Trader Trove. They listed 22 boxes for $100 too. So it's just kind of a strange behavior. Why would you do that? Because it's not like, and this is why I'm like asking, is this like market manipulation? Is this a mistake? Because for the Black Bolt Procs, they also have a bunch of them for about the same number for 154, which matches market price. So it seems like they're trying to match the market price, and maybe they just kind of didn't look. So maybe it's just a mistake. Otherwise, like, just wait for PokeHive's boxes to go away, and then there's no way that like it justifies $100 drop all of a sudden. Like maybe around pre-release, these things will go to $100, but like for now it's like way too soon. We're still a month out, and yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that. Otherwise, the bundles are about the same. See, the demand is about 10 yesterday and today for Black Bolts, and White Flare bundles sold about 5 yesterday. So generally, I still see more demand for Black Bolt over White Flare for whatever reason, at least on TCG Player. All right, for Destined Rivals, I think I'm seeing some strong-ish signs for Destined Rivals. So if you see over here, it's all yellow today, and yesterday there was a bunch of decreases. Now we're kind of back out recovering to some of those previous prices. So for booster boxes, we're going back to about $260 for a booster box, and the spread looks a little healthier today. So demand was still above 100, so 120. And by spread, I just mean spread between the prices. You're just seeing a little more breathing room between the box prices. I see a couple of dollars between some of these prices. If they're all not like it's not like 259.87, then 88, then 89. It's like I actually see like some difference between the prices. Like this is 265 and this is 260, and then there's some in between. And then the number of listed boxes aren't like a ton either. Like a lot of these sellers are listing only one box. So it's a strongest sign for joining together for Destined Rivals. Like demand keeps up, the price will rise. Yeah, just pretty good on that. Especially since booster boxes, you don't really, there's not infinite supply of booster boxes. Like you usually can't get them at Walmart and Target. So a lot of the supply has already been kind of distributed to stores or whatever who get them. And I don't usually say same for ETBs and bundles because those are things you can get otherwise. As far as other things go, so the ETBs they sold about 90 yesterday, so it's a little lower than normal, and the ETBs actually recovered back to about $93 because there was a little bit of a cheap one yesterday, and that's why the price went down. For PC ETBs, they're still about the same price as yesterday, and people are still buying about 40 of these, and yeah, I think a lot of the pricing is actually around the same for PCTB, so they kind of all stabilize. For bundles, I see a decrease in bundles bought at 20, so it's actually a big decrease. Before, it was like in the hundreds. So it's like 165, and then on the third, it's 101. So 20 is actually really. Oh wait, actually, 100. That's 100. Sorry, it's cursor wrong, but it's still kind of a big drop. It went from like 200 to 150s to 100, so still a lot fewer bundles bought all of a sudden. And yeah, but bundle pricing is like still over. It's still like $2 more, roughly, like maybe $1.70 or something, $1.80 more per pack. So it does kind of make sense. It doesn't really make sense to buy bundles. It just makes, if you're looking for cheap packs, like the verdict is obvious. Like you don't buy ETBs, you don't buy PCTVs, you don't buy bundles, you buy cases, and you buy booster boxes. So this is kind of the advantage of booster box sets over non-booster box sets because you see like this more clear spread. Like this happened to Surging Sparks as well. Surging Sparks, you're like, oh, why is Surging Sparks? Like this was when people didn't really get that Pokemon was a thing. They're like, why is Surging Sparks keeps going up? And it's like, okay, when you look at the price per pack, booster box and booster box cases are still the most logical thing to go based on like money. If you want just the most number of packs, most people like opening booster boxes. For Prismatic or whatever, it gets a little more complicated with all this products that they put out there. And then the cases over here. Yeah, cases, they took a little dip in selling, so they were selling at least 5 per day, which is very impressive actually for a lot of days in a row, and they dipped back down to 3. Case prices are still going up again, and yeah, it's just really strange. People really are buying up the cases. I am seeing a little more similar pricing going on here at the moment. Like I see a bunch of 1580s and it goes 1600. But yeah, with this demand, like we are seeing, this is a kind of a strongest sign for Destined rivals. So, and then the booster box price divided by 6, it's 263. So the cases are actually cost more than the booster box at the moment. So it's kind of leading toward the booster boxes might really rise. Like maybe this is actually a good set, guys. Joining together, the set that people would compare it to, it's like the worst set people don't want to open as much. Like it really is Paragate on demand, guys. But over here, so as far as like price increases, the booster box went up about $5 for the more expensive one, and then this has been the cheaper one's been more stable. And then there's like this really cheap case available, which I'll get into that in a sec. But so a total of 20 booster boxes sold, which is like now we're back at the lower end. We've been selling like 30 per day, and now we're back at the 20s. But yeah, this is cheaper one, and the price spread. Yeah, there's a lot of people selling around 202, and it just jumped to about 206. But yeah, the big resistance is probably Card Rush trying to sell them at 16 of them. This one, it's interesting because people actually are paying $215 for this sometimes. Like you see a couple 215 sales, and yeah, I don't know. This is always gonna catch some people who are just gonna pay the higher price. And ETBs, they had a big, like a little spike in demand at 30. Usually it's more like 10. So that's that. PCTBs have been selling pretty low at 4. Bundles been selling pretty low at 7. And then yeah, okay, so there's cheap cases. So there's been no cases sold, unfortunately, for Join Together, which makes it so the price will probably go down for some of the stuff, because I see a lot of people are trying to really desperately get rid of these things at like $12.65 roughly. And then so I see this other Giddles, which has like a lot of cheap things, and so I didn't really look them up, but it is really cheap. That's $180 a booster box. I'm not really sure how trustworthy they are because I saw them again. I wasn't gonna look them up, but then I saw like PCTPs for 151, and this is usually $500, and it's at $425, and I was like, okay, that's so cheap. And I thought I was like, did I see you before? So I finally opened them up, and I saw, yeah, they're selling all these products, and yeah, they are, like they are selling a really cheap Surging Sparks case. So this is like $10.75, usually sells for about $1,400. That's a huge discount. There's this team up pre-release kits, which, so this is probably less accurate because these are retro things. The market spread is a lot, but yeah, they're selling for like $100 less than market price. I didn't look up the other items, but yeah, I don't know how trustworthy they are. They have like one bad review, so I don't know what that's gonna do. But yeah, I don't know much about the seller otherwise. But yeah, there is technically a cheap case for Joining Together. Okay, so let's go to, let's see, let's look at my notes. What's actually, all right, so Crown Zenith is, I feel like Crown Zenith is like a hot topic for a lot of people. It's just a set that everyone knows has like so little risk. 151 has risk because people know Pokemon's like trying to do reprints of it. Prismatic's had a ton of risk. Like there's a ton of risk in these newer sets, but Crown Zenith is like, it's that favorite child that has like zero risk. Relatively, like, you know, they're not printing much more of these. Like the pack prices are going to the roof. Like, you know, like ETB pricing, it's just $17.50 a pack, guys. I know there's a promo code and everything, but still $7.50 a pack. Even bundles are selling for about $14 a pack. It's just crazy seeing guys selling for that. But yeah, news for Crown Zenith. So bundles went up to a new high of about $88. There were no sales yesterday. There's one sale today. Um, but yeah, that was interesting. These bundles just keep going up. There's not usually a ton of sales for them, but people do keep raising the price on this, and now they're at 14.60 a pack. And then for packs, there was like some cheaper ones around like I forget, it was like 10.69 or 10.40 or something like that. And now those are gone. Those are all bought up. Uh, yeah, 10.69 over here. People bought them up, and now we're starting to see like more packs going back to about $11. Um, there's this Pokepon here which appear which is at 10.89.40. Then there's these 10.96 ones, and yeah, I'm still waiting until we just hit 11.50 more stably. But Crown Zenith pack demand has been down lately, and yeah, I'm only seeing like 30 packs all a day, so that's been slowing things down. But eventually, usually there's usually a spike in buying at some point, which will flush out a lot of the supply. But for now, we're seeing like 30 packs a day when you add it all up. And Sea and Sky demand was kind of so-so at 3. I don't know. Sea and Sky just keeps going up overall, so I just kind of wait for it. And yeah, ETBs, there was a little spike in demand at 11. That's quite a bit this price, and there's still quite a few of them at 175. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy when like this thing's like a $300 ETB or something. Like these are like Crown Zenith was reprinted so much, and they still couldn't kill it. All right, and then what else is there? I'll just go to. I'll go to 151 next since it's right here. Okay, so 151, you're seeing a bunch of drops. You're seeing five products dropped, and it's honestly looking a little concerning because we look at the pack prices. Like Boaster's 928, Blooming Waters is at a low 120. That's $10 a pack. Like bundles were covered, but like yeah, that Blooming Water kind of restock really hurt a lot of things. For I guess bundles are so liquid that they recover really quickly, but Blooming Waters hasn't. And you see UPCs, there's a decrease by $14. There's some caveats to that. ETBs dropped. There's some caveats to that. And then PCTVs dropped. There's some caveats to that. But okay, here's what I'm saying. Just a bunch of little shifts that some people are probably going to take advantage of, some people aren't. So bundles have social demand at 44. Not too interesting. They're just super stable stuff. And next is I think UPCs. So UPCs have this kind of caveat. So there was more demand. So there was 8, so that's not a bad number. And what you see is that there's actually people paying $400 for UPC. So you see on the like there was one recent over here, and I didn't like put this on days prior, but there were people like around 530, 531 buying it for $400. So. And yeah, I'm just waiting for this to reach like 390 or 400. But I see these butcher cards, which put these 2 cheap ones, then the price goes back to 370, and it jumps like 390 pretty quickly. So I'm just kind of looking out for that for UPCs. But nothing kind of prevents people from just listing cheap stuff. And for 151 packs, what did I put? I think I put like 11. Let's see, 1045 for these packs. So 1045 is here. I just kind of got tired of like 151 like not recovering fully yet, so I just put, even though there's like 30 packs, I put this at 1045. But otherwise, there's not a lot of packs over here to resist the price from going up, and then you get a little more resistance at 1069. Like the more stable price is around 1069 because you see about 100 packs here, and then like $11 around here. But the number of packs bought was 163, so quite a few 161 packs bought to help flush out the market a little bit. Alright, and then next, so I've noticed for ETBs, the demand has been a little higher lately, just a little more consistently selling about like 4 per day for a lot of days. So I was surprised that the price actually went down from that, but it is a good sign for ETBs. Like their supply is just slowly starting to flush out because people, I don't really see these getting reprinted off like very much. So this is kind of a long-term side kind of thing that people really want. Like you already saw how like Crown Zenith ETBs are doing and stuff. So, and then next is PCTBs. I already mentioned Giddles. Yeah, they just have a really cheap box. Otherwise, but it really does cost like $500. And then one sold today. These were all the Giddles listings, and I go poster collections. And poster collections, like demand was kind of so yesterday at 10. It was a little higher at 21, but yeah, I think great buys. I have the feeling they just keep relisting more. I haven't really double checked that, but otherwise, like they're still there. They haven't been bought out, and it really has been plummeting the market of posters. Just a lot of hits on posters to really decrease the price. For binders, I mentioned yesterday at binders, the loose binders have been selling more, but the normal binders have not been selling much at all. And right now you're seeing Games Galore have one at 130. Usually, honestly, it's still at 135 pretty much. But yeah, there's a cheap one. Cheaper binders do appear every now and then. And Blooming Waters, yeah, this is the thing. Like this was just so much higher before at 140. It's really dropped. It does recover. You know, it goes 126 to 135. Now we're seeing like a 108, and like this. Yeah, maybe it's gonna really stay at 120, guys. I don't know, but you know, I see some prices go up to 125, but yeah, Blue Warrior's like a huge hit. I just see the demand numbers are so low nowadays. 10 is not really that much. It was like there were better spikes before, and now we're kind of out of that buying period. So that's why it's like kind of iffy for Blue Warriors right now. And yeah, so 151 just seems pretty cheap right now. You can get a bunch of cheap ones for like $9 to $10 a pack. All right, and then Prismatic. Prismatic also sees you're seeing a ton of price drops. So 151 and Prismatic not great days for it. Yeah, ETBs are most noticeable. $110, just really cheap. I guess with the reprint news or the restock at Costco, it's been hurting things. There's this, yeah, a lot of people are selling for at 110, so it's just been really hurting the price. And yeah, demand hasn't really picked up that much. So the UPC, the SPCs, more demand was bought. I think that there was just a sale yesterday from BeatOwn over here. So they have 10 here listed at 207.98. Usually when there's a lot bought, there's like a sale. I see a lot of people buying around that price. So yeah, I think someone just tried to offload a bunch of SPCs yesterday. Bundles are, their prices are still kind of more stable, even with the restock stuff, but yeah, 61, but yeah, they're still around $70, but they did technically go down about 75 cents, even though they were recovering. Like, yeah, Pokemon really is going hard on Prismatic to try to decrease prices. Like, I said wait it out, but honestly, Pokemon, like, it's really done enough with Prismatic to try to kill it compared to other things, I feel like. Surprise boxes are down 122. It's just really amazing how cheap they've been recently. 40 were sold, but yeah, even with high spikes in demand, like the price keeps going down for these surprise boxes. It's been pretty bad for surprise boxes. For 151 packs, 78 were bought, and that's not terrible. And I put the pack price at 11.10. Pack prices for loose packs are looking better though. Like there's actually not a ton of packs at 11.10. I just put it there because I'm just tired of the price not really going up. But yeah, there's 22 here. Otherwise, it does do a jump to like 11.70 over here, and then like over here is like close to $12, which is a little surprising. So yeah, for some reason loose packs are starting to dry up, even though you can still get pouches for 11.40 and bundles for 11.60. And this is what PCTBs. There's been more buying activity lately. 8 yesterday, 8 today. So that's interesting. But the price usually doesn't go up. Binders, so the man at 9. They change? Forgot. They didn't really change much. And these pouches, these awful pouches, sold 7. They're still always stuck around. Actually, I do see some $60 prices here, but yeah, they're stuck around 57 like always. And tin displays, the demand keeps shrinking, so I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped in the next couple of days. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks guys, bye.